Joy Reid. She's a repeat offender, if you will. She really said this.
LGBTQ people can't even serve in the military under the president you prefer.
Okay, but they get married.
Oh, I'm sorry. They're only
Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. Seriously, she poured vodka sodas a few years ago, and now she wants to lecture the world on macroeconomics.
This bill is a deal with the devil. It explodes our national debt. It militarizes our entire economy, and it strips away healthcare and basic dignity.
Jason Bateman, you've become kind of a smug, cocky Hollywood guy who always looks like he's about to sarcastically sell you life insurance in an off-brand progressive commercial.
At what point, if ever, do you think the story would change from reporting on the outrageousness of Trump and his actions, his decisions, his words?
Find the colors, find the light. In the gray, we'll find our sight. Brutal banner, fierce words, shadows street, streets look hurt.
Welcome to Stay in the Gray podcast. I'm your host, Ryan, and I'm here to bring you raw conversations about life and those undeniable human truths. We dive into the chaos, one issue at a time, blending comedy, controversy, and the unexplainable. Get ready for transparent ideas straight from the gray areas where most answers are hiding. So stay curious, stay inquisitive, please stay laughing, stay in the gray. Come check it out. We'll see you there. Hey guys, hope everyone had a fantastic 4th of July, and a quick FU to the screaming minority out there in our country who posted negative things about the United States and who pouted and said we didn't deserve a birthday. You can take one day to stop pouting and celebrate being an American, which is the greatest thing in the world. You're sad, you're pathetic, and you're the minority. Remember that. All right, let's get on with it. So here's another episode of They Really Said That. It's kind of fitting. Progressive elites exposing their hypocrisy, their insanity, and their scripted nonsense as they spew it to try and keep you compliant. They trade in emotional buzzwords and fear tactics to keep you distracted from the hard truths that actually matter. I don't know, law, order, stability, accountability. They push feelings over facts, chaos over order, and victimhood over responsibility. But here, we call it what it is. It's delusion, deception, and the slow rot of society that forgets truth in favor of comfort. Buckle up, again, because we're going to rip apart all the lies and the hypocrisy, one savage takedown at a time. This is Stay in the Gray podcast. It's July 7th. Let's roll. You know what we're going to start with today? I'm going to go with Joy Reid. She's a repeat offender, if you will, because no one says, I got my job as a diversity hire, like Joy, spouting off about topics she barely understands and knows nothing about. If there was ever a person who needed a teleprompter and a fact checker and a muzzle all in one, that would be Joy. She always looks like she just smelled a fart. We can't figure out who dealt it. That's her brand. Confused moral outrage with a side of permanent resting bitch face. Here she is at her finest. She really said this. Joy decided to bless America with her wisdom by comparing how all LGBTQ people are treated here in the United States to Iran. Roll the tape, fellas.
LGBTQ people can't even serve in the military under the president you prefer.
Okay, but they get married.
Oh, I'm sorry. They're only a little bit. They're only a little bit discriminated against. Oh, they're allowed to live, but they're not allowed to serve in the United States military. They're being persecuted. They can't have their stories told in school. The United States is not exactly a beacon of human rights for gay people.
All right. There's a lot of countries around the world that are
United.
Okay. Blah, blah, blah. Thank goodness that one dude was like, what? Joy, Iran literally executes gay people. hangs them from cranes, stones them, tortures them. Probably worse for trans. But hey, Joy thinks it's basically the same as America because being asked to not perform drag shows in front of toddlers is exactly like public execution. She says gay and trans people can't serve in the military. First off, what are you talking about? Gay people are allowed to serve in the military. That's been true since Don't Ask, Don't Tell was repealed over a decade ago. As for trans individuals, yes, under Trump, they are not allowed to serve due to legitimate concerns about medical readiness, mental health stability, and the military's basic requirement for physical and psychological fitness. Hey, don't let standards and facts interrupt your victimhood narrative. And then she whines about them not being able to tell their stories in schools. What stories, Joy? Stories about gender confusion, irreversible surgeries for kids who can't even legally drive yet? Maybe parents don't want their 7-year-old learning about puberty blockers before they've learned basic math. Also, by the way, not just for Joy, but why are gay and bisexual people constantly lumped in with transgender folks? What an asinine connection. Some bisexual woman just wants to party on a Friday night at the club, and all of a sudden she's grouped with a dude wanting to chop off his balls, change his pronouns to they, them, the Dragon King. Whatever. They're not the same thing, Joy. Here's the difference. In America, you can be gay. You can be trans. You can hold parades, wave your flags. You can serve in the military if your biology and mental health meet the standards. Star in movies. You can run companies. You can make TikToks about your daily iced coffee order and hormone dose. Whatever you want to do. In Iran, you get death. But sure, Joy Reid, tell us more about how brutal America is. Tell it to the Iranian gay man fearing execution tonight. I'm just baffled that this woman has any platform at all. But hey, if CNN didn't keep inviting her back, who would say all of the dumb things that I get to give to you? I'm going to move on to one of my all-time favorites. Anybody that's watched the show can maybe guess. The bartender who thinks she's an economist, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. Seriously, she poured vodka sodas a few years ago, and now she wants to lecture the world on macroeconomics. It's like me flipping burgers at McDonald's and then saying, I'm a Michelin star chef. Let's be honest, AOC acts like she's the face of the entire liberal agenda, and she may very well be, and I hope she is, because her extremist absurdities will never, ever win a national majority. And every time she opens her mouth, an independent voter runs back to us screaming sanity. We welcome them. Here she is, cackling after the big beautiful bill was passed. Hit play, boys.
This bill is a deal with the devil. It explodes our national debt. It militarizes our entire economy, and it strips away healthcare and basic dignity of the American people. For what? To give Elon Musk a tax break and billionaires the greedy taking of our nation. We cannot stand for it, and we will not support it. You should be ashamed.
You go, girl. First off, deal with the devil. Dramatic much, AOC. You'd think this was an exorcism and not a bill signing. And then she has the gall to say, it explodes our national debt. Hold up there, Alexandria. Didn't you propose the Green New Deal for what, like $10 trillion minimum? That was your own ballpark figure, actually, and opponents pegged it closer to $93 trillion when factoring everything your resolution aimed to do. And what does that include? Oh, how about total decarbonization of the economy, upgrading every single building in America, universal health care for all, guaranteed jobs for everyone, economic security, even for people unwilling to work. Yeah, 10 trillion is probably a little low coming out of your mouth. And 93 trillion, admittedly, is probably a wee bit high coming from your opponents. But let's call it what it is. Your plan was orders of magnitude larger than this big, beautiful bill that you're crying about. At least Trump's bill has plans to balance it out. Tariffs, cuts to frivolous spending, which, by the way, are already bringing in major revenue from international trade deals. That's fact. You, AOC, had zero plans, except printing monopoly money, taxing the wealthy, and bankrupting generations to come. But now you're screaming about the deficit. Sit down, bartender. My God. She also screeches about stripping away healthcare and dignity from the American people. No, Alexandria, once again, what this does is it gives healthcare control back to the states. The people who actually need help will still get it. The people who are capable of working and contributing to society, well, maybe it's time that they did. And did you miss the part about cutting benefits for illegal immigrants? Yeah, most of the country actually supports that. Scream all you want. And lastly, she brings up Elon Musk getting tax breaks. I'm pretty sure she just was scrambling for a name and that came to mind. But let's remind you, Elon hates half of the bill, especially the green spending embedded in it. Second, it's not giving him anything, it's just simply not taking everything from him. There's a difference. Our economy runs on private sector innovation. And if you keep punishing the rich for being rich, they'll leave. Or did your Economics 101 class at the bar not cover that? Let's not pretend that billionaires are somehow all MAGA. 3-to-1 billionaire support in the last election went to Kamala, not Trump. So please tell me again how conservatives are the party of billionaires, while your crew sucks up Silicon Valley cash like it's your after-shift margarita. Finally, she ends with, we should be ashamed of ourselves, people who support the bill. Says who? You? Because last time I checked, the vast majority of voters supported it. You're just mad that your doomsday fantasies didn't get funded. You're a walking contradiction. A self-righteous, hypocritical, performative, bartender turned congresswoman whose only real talent is playing victim while sipping iced coffee on Instagram Live. What a joke you and the entire progressive left have become. Moving on from you. I'm going to go on to this dude, and it pains me because I really liked his work in his films, but Jason Bateman, you've become kind of a smug, cocky Hollywood guy who always looks like he's about to sarcastically sell you life insurance in an off-brand progressive commercial. And honestly, like I said, it hurts because I enjoyed his work, and I think that I'm surprised. I think that some of the things that he says comes out of his mouth. But like so many in Hollywood, as soon as he does open his mouth about politics, the charm disappears, and you realize there's nothing behind it but arrogance and ignorance. Check this video out of Jason on with Nicole Wallace. Go ahead and play that one, boys.
At what point, if ever, do you think the story would change from reporting on the outrageousness of Trump and his actions, his decisions, his words, and instead move to the people that have voted for him twice? And I know that goes back to the whole story of deplorables, and like as soon as that happened, everyone just backed off and don't ever talk bad about, America and the 80 million. So, but he's never changed. He's always been the same. He didn't do a 180 and dupe everybody when he got to the White House. It's the people that have put him there and then put him there again that really deserve a great deal of responsibility and a talking to. I'm sorry. And I say that with love. They are our neighbors, as I said before, and I know that they are, deservedly aggrieved and whatnot, but there's another way to do it. There's somebody else in the Republican Party that can look after your issues if
Oh my goodness. Just look at him sitting there with Nicole Wallace. We'll get to her. Both of them with that smug, we know everything face. The arrogance is hilarious considering that they're the vast minority with their opinion. The balls for Jason to talk down to 80 million voters like we're misbehaving is ridiculous. Buddy, reverse everything you just said and apply it to the modern left. That's the real meltdown happening. He calls Trump outrageous. Well, first off, that's subjective, Jason. We voted for that. We wanted that. We're tired of career politicians lying to our faces with syrupy words and backroom deals. Trump calls it out. You call it outrageous. Tomato, tomato. Then Jason blames the people, us, for putting him there. Yes, Jason, we did that on purpose. You say that Trump didn't change from term 1 to term 2. He didn't, and neither did we. What part of that don't you get? And I love how he trails off mid-sentence there. He goes, well, you can't really talk bad about America and the 80 million, and he just stops. Well, go ahead and finish that thought. 80 million people voted for him. That's a fact you apparently can't say out loud without your brain short-circuiting. And the best part, he says the people who put Trump there, we deserve a great deal of responsibility and need a talking to. Who do you think you are, dude? I mean, are you going to line us up like kindergartners and scholists for coloring outside of your Hollywood-approved lines? He suggests somebody else in the Republican Party should take the spot. No, we chose him. He won the primaries, something your candidate didn't even have to enter because the DNC cleared the field like obedient servants. Trump was duly elected on a national level after that, and it wasn't even close. Get off your high horse, Jason Bateman. You're no more qualified to speak on politics than the barista at Starbucks. Actually, scratch that. At least the barista knows how to serve people without preaching at them. Stick to what you're good at. Go back and make Teen Wolf 3 or something like that. Although Michael J. Fox was way better at Teen Wolf than you ever were. I'll move on from you, Jason. Go back and make a funny film because I do enjoy it. Speaking of Hollywood, smug Hollywood interviewers who we just saw, let's talk about Nicole Wallace. This one gets me. A couple of these really get me today, but particularly Nicole. MSNBC's Golden Girl, former Republican turned professional leftist, which you don't see many of. You see it the other way these days. And she's the host of Deadline, White House, and self-proclaimed political expert. Because right after Jason Bateman finished looking down his nose at half of America, she decided it was her turn to show us just how disconnected from humanity she really is. Play this video, guys.
Crystallizes for you, and I hope he has a long life as a law enforcement officer. But I hope he never has to defend the United States Capitol against Donald Trump supporters. And if he does, I hope he isn't one of the 6 who loses his life to suicide. And I hope he isn't one who has to testify against the people who carried out acts of seditious conspiracy and then live to see Donald Trump pardon those people.
I should have given you a little bit of a preface there. Well, she's crying about January 6th, but this is about, I'm trying to remember his last name. It was DJ. DJ's a 13-year-old who was invited to the White House, and I'll get there. The bottom line is that she took an opportunity to scream about January 6th again. This is bottom of the barrel scum bad. She uses her airtime blaming Trump with zero evidence for January the 6th. Actually, there is some evidence that actually is emerging that Nancy Pelosi and her crew may have staged half the damn thing to weaponize it politically. But facts don't matter when you've built your brand on emotional manipulation. So then she stoops to a new low. She brings up 13-year-old DJ Daniel, that's his last name, I remembered, a kid who's fighting brain cancer, spinal cancer. And she brings him up as a pawn in her twisted narrative. In case you missed it, DJ was invited to Trump's address to Congress. This man's dream is to become a police officer. Think about that for a second. A kid with cancer, with every reason to feel hopeless, wants to serve others as a cop in a world where the left treats police like criminals. Trump made him an honorary FBI agent that night, fulfilling a life dream for a boy staring death in the face. What does Nicole Wallace do? That's who she was talking about. She turns it into an attack. She uses his story about to fearmonger about Trump, to paint him as the villain in the story of a dying child's dream coming true. This isn't just Trump derangement syndrome anymore. This is moral rot. Who are these people? How can anyone align with this kind of depraved worldview? Nicole Wallace is the type of person who sees a Make-A-Wish kid meeting their hero and then complains that the hero wasn't diverse enough. That's who she is. She's a bitter, soulless talking head using a child's cancer to advance the political narrative. What a disgusting human being you are. That's all I want. That's all the time I want to give her. I have so much respect for little DJ Daniel and what he wants to do in life, and he wants to help people. And he got made honorary. It was just such a cool deal. And somebody like this is going to shit all over that. And, fuck her. They get me so fired up. Makes me wonder if that's what they're trying to do. Not just me, but like people like-minded to me. All right, let's go in here. And this was a late edition because of something that has just happened here in Texas, and it's very, very sad. It's hard to talk about. Most of you have already heard that the Guadalupe River has flooded very, very, very quickly, and we've lost a lot of lives because of it. Some close to home, some a little further out, but we're all Texans, and we're all grieving for it. So allow me to, I don't want to give her any airtime, any satisfaction, but we're going to talk about Rosie O'Donnell. And she's just the one I handpicked. She's an example and a representative of these types of people. And I'm seeing more and more of these coming out. So I'll put in someone with absolutely no relevance whatsoever. She's not a politician. She's not a journalist. She's just a washed up comedian with decades old grudge against one man, Donald Trump. Listen to this.
And what a horror story in Texas. The flash floods in Texas, the Guadalupe River, 51 missing, 51 dead, more missing. Children at a camp. And when the president guts all of the early warning systems and the weathering forecast abilities of the government, these are the results that we're going to start to see on a daily basis, because he's put this country in so much danger by his horrible, horrible decisions and this ridiculously immoral bill that he just signed.
Stop her right there. Nice nose pick there. At least wait till you're done filming to dig in there. But here she is sitting in Ireland, blaming where she moved, by the way. She's one of the ones that moved. And she's blaming Trump for the Texas floods. She's claiming he gutted all of the early warning systems and the weather forecasting abilities of the government. That is just completely wrong. There's no other way to say it, Rosie. You're just spouting off lies. You don't know what you're talking about. Do you actually think Trump personally destroyed the Doppler radar systems and the NOAA satellites? This is next level stupid, even for you. It's horrifying enough that families here are burying their children after this flood. But then people like you come out spewing absolute garbage like this. And let's get the facts straight. You claim that Trump gutted all the forecasting systems and warning networks. That is a blatant lie. I'll say it again. Here's the reality. No systems were gutted. Yes, under Trump, the National Weather Service saw a 10 to 15% staff reduction, mainly layoffs and unfulfilled retirements. But all forecasting tools, satellites, and Doppler radars remained fully operational. During these Texas floods, the NWS issued timely flood watches and flash warnings and emergency services, including Black Hawk helicopters that were deployed within an hour of the state request by Donald Trump. Apparently, there are normally 2 people monitoring the weather. There were 5 at this time. Your claims are completely wrong. Get this. Just to put a cherry on top, Rosie, the biggest budget cuts that you're screaming about, those are part of the fiscal year 2026 budget proposal, which doesn't even take effect until October of this year. So they had zero impact on this flood response, even if what you were saying is true. So this is what people like this do. They twist reality and blame Trump for everything, even the weather. Families are grieving, parents are burying children, and Rosie's priority is to score political points by spreading fear and misinformation. It's depraved, and it's why the progressive narrative is rotting from the inside out. Move on to Biden. Compare it to Biden's Maui response with Hawaii during the fires. They were delayed for days. He couldn't even manage a proper public statement. Where was USA then? Real fast, a disclaimer. You can tell I'm a little rattled by the flood. My delivery isn't quite as smooth as it always is. But real fast. To every politician, celebrity, woke keyboard warrior politicizing this tragedy, you make me sick. And I know you don't care. But families are grieving. I've said it now 3 times. Children lost. And your first instinct is to weaponize their pain for this narrative. There's no lower form of humanity. Back to Rosie. She called Trump mentally unfit. His cognitive tests say otherwise. Meanwhile, Rosie has publicly admitted her entire life that she struggles with heavy mental health issues. So why exactly should we listen to her analysis of anyone's mental stability? Rosie, you're literally sitting in another country ranting about an American president you claim to hate, but you can't stop thinking about him. Trump lives rent-free in your head. He has for years. Here's what makes it even worse. While the disaster is happening in Texas and children are lost and the homes are going down the river and cars going down the river, you're pinning it on Trump, but you're also somehow tying it to this big, beautiful bill. You threw that in there at the end. Like, that has anything to do with it. Does anyone, liberal, independent, conservative, actually think that what she's doing with this is okay? Using death and disaster for cheap political jabs is disgusting, no matter which side you're on. But at least you followed through on one promise to me, Rosie. To all of us. You said you'd leave the country if Donald Trump won, and you actually did. Too bad Ireland had to take you. I feel bad for them. Stay gone, Rosie. Seriously. America doesn't need or want your lies, your fear-mongering, and your washed-up victim monologues. All right. Let's do this. To end the segment today, the episode today, I'm gonna post this. And this is from, let me get it up here. This is the former president of the United States, Joe Biden. Or at least his auto pen wrote this somehow. Because does anyone think that he was able to write an entire paragraph by himself? He's too busy eating pudding while Jill dabs it off his mouth and reminds him what decade it is. So check this tweet out. This tweet says, the Republican budget bill is not only reckless, it's cruel. It slashes Medicaid and takes away health care from millions of Americans. I've heard this before. It closes rural hospitals and cuts food assistance for our veterans and seniors. It jacks up energy bills, and it could trigger deep cuts to Medicare while driving up the deficit by $4 trillion. All of this to give massive tax breaks to the billionaires. Working people deserve better. I'm not sure what bill he was reviewing here, but sure as hell wasn't the big, beautiful bill. It cuts food assistance for veterans? Are you out of your mind? I actually didn't mean that. Yes, you are out of your mind, but seriously, that's nowhere in the bill. VA programs remain fully funded. Trump has historically expanded VA funding and support programs, not cut them. Whoever's writing this is just literally lying to your face. I'm tired of this. God, I'm giving you receipts, people. Trump respects the military more than any president in generations. If you want a receipt, look at the military enlistment right now. Record-setting highs. Young Americans are finally feeling proud to serve this country again. Then Biden says on the tweet, or again, whoever's writing it, it jacks up the energy bills. No, Joe. Only you jacked up prices on day-to-day necessities with your war on American oil, your green subsidies to your donor buddies, and your incompetent economic policies that made a loaf of bread cost as much as a steak dinner. Most of this I already covered on the tweet when AOC ran her mouth. But here's the point. Do you notice how they all kind of say the exact same thing and write the exact same thing? It's like they gather in their little echo chamber each morning to hand out the script du jour. And then they regurgitate it all over social media, in interviews, and wherever they can possibly get a platform. They're basically like mindless parrots, if you will. This tweet is almost word for word what AOC was rambling, except the nonsense about the veterans, which is absolutely absurd. It's not a coincidence. This is propaganda with a teleprompter. It's time for Joe to rest. I'm sure he actually probably is, mentally. But it's time for Jill, your wife, to stop abusing you by propping up your name on everything while you slip deeper into confusion. She craves the spotlight too much to just let you go, and that's the saddest part of it all. I almost feel bad for you. Almost. So, to end today, here are the Grievance Games awards. You forgot about the medal ceremony, didn't you? Here we go. This is where we award the worst people for their contributions to the idiocy this week that I gave you. The gold medal, I got to give it to Nicole Wallace. I mean, obviously this was a toss-up, and Rosie may be up there now, but Nicole Wallace for using a 13-year-old cancer patient as a political pawn. Nicole, if your soul was currency, it wouldn't buy a conscience. Silver medal, Rosie O'Donnell for blaming Trump for rain. Seriously, Rosie, your brain is like a broken GPS, screaming directions to nowhere. The bronze medal, Joy Reid. She's made a lot of the podiums for the award ceremonies for these. But her Olympic-level victimhood gymnastics, comparing the treatment of LGBTQ people in America to execution in Iran, Joy, your moral compass is broken, if it ever even existed at all. Participation trophies. I can't forget AOC. That's my girl. I will continue to give you all of her nonsense. But, AOC thinks that bartending qualifies her to rewrite global economics. AOC, it does not. Jason Bateman for acting like voters are children who need a talking to. And, of course, former President Joe Biden. I almost left him off because I don't know. He doesn't know what's going on right now. But for tweeting someone else's words while drooling into his pudding cup. All right, that's it for today. The flood has me a little bit rattled, so I apologize if the delivery wasn't as smooth. But you get the point. They really said that. It was another episode. It's just moral rot. I mean, it really is. It's. I hate hypocrisy, and I just feel like every single person that I offer to you just defines hypocrisy, and it's an example of representing the progressive mind. They scream justice while crushing freedom. They scream compassion while exploiting children with cancer. They scream tolerance while calling for silencing their opposition. And I, for one, don't want to be silent about it. That's why I do this segment. And if you're tired of their delusion becoming our reality, share the show. This is your show. They aren't long. I like to give it to you fast so that you can go and listen to some more. But until the clowns are out of power and any kind of influence, we'll continue to be a place to call it out. And I'll offer that to you. And I will savagely and brutally take every one of them down one at a time. So I'll see you next show. Like and subscribe. Follow me. I love all of you, and I love interacting with you guys online. So keep that up and stay savage. Stay sane. Try and stay laughing. Stay in the gray. Love you guys.
Shadows screams, screams, love hurt.